86. Yeah, my dad was like my age, which sucks because I'm like, God damn, I'm nowhere close to starting a business right now.
Oh yeah, but like it was a different time.
Yeah, it's like no. Yeah, I guess back then you could also like buy your first house by trading like 3 cherries and a banana.
Right. All of a sudden you own 3 acres.
Hello, people of the world. Welcome back to another episode of Sam Sessions. Of course, we're back here in the acoustic A room of South Austin Music. Another special guest today to my right is James Bookert, and hosting the show, you got the world's worst interviewer.
I might be the world's worst interviewee, so.
That's perfect.
I'm doing well, man. I got a good night's sleep. I'm over-caffeinated.
Oh, good stuff.
And I'm going to go practice afterwards. Going to go to the practice break.
Nice. What are you practicing for? Just in general?
I have a set tomorrow for Ham Day.
Okay.
Then I have a thing on Saturday for Lori Gardo, like a fundraiser.
Nice. So the ham thing, what's that all about?
HAM is Health Alliance for Austin Musicians, for anyone that doesn't know that.
I didn't know until I started doing these interviews.
Oh, really?
I didn't know about ham or Sims.
You probably qualify. I mean, literally, like anyone does. But,
yeah, for sure. But so are they having like just like a fundraiser or a show tomorrow?
Yeah, they're doing it's like their little festival. There's like 4 or 5 different stages. I'm playing at the Waterloo Amphitheater.
Oh, sweet.
That's not what it's called, though. It's not the Waterloo Amphitheater. It's called,
Sound like me before
I can't remember.
Sound like me before I'm like, Jimmy Bookert?
It's called... no, it's called the... I can't remember. Anyway, we'll call it the Waterloo Amphitheater.
Yeah.
But there's like 4 or 5 different stages, and yeah, it's like their big fundraiser, so they have a bunch of like really awesome bands playing.
That's really cool.
They start music at 6 a.m.,
mm-hmm.
which is insane, and then they go until, I think, 8 or 9 p.m., just
that's
all over the city.
Do they get a crowd at 6 a.m.?
I have no idea.
Yeah, that's nuts.
I did like the virtual Ham Day like 2 years ago.
Okay.
Which was cool, but I have no idea what to expect.
How about that? So did they invite you to do that, or did you like sign up for it? How did
they
you get that
invited
show?
me to do it, yeah.
Okay.
My old band Shivers, we'd done a bunch of fundraisers for them. And then 2 years ago, I think really before I'd released anything, I did like a live video, and I filmed it at the liquor store that I work at, and then I guess they kind of got wind of it, and they liked it. And
did you get any free liquor doing it at the liquor store?
Oh, I mean, no. That would have been tight, though.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm doing Ham Day, and is this a weird segue?
No, not at all.
So I'm a ham recipient because a lot of us musicians are.
Right.
So basically, I started having seizures like 2 years ago. That was my second one. The first one I didn't have health insurance. And so I didn't get to do any of the medical follow-up. Mm-hmm. So I went to the hospital, and then I went to work the same day, which is not something you should do.
Oh my God, man. Yeah, we talked about it a little bit before we started, but you're like, yeah, I had my first seizure and I didn't have health insurance. So I was like, well, screw it, I guess I'm going to die.
Yeah, literally. That wasn't the plan, but
yeah.
The second one that I had, they paid my hospital bill. I was able to get to see a neurologist. I got a CAT scan, a PET scan.
Wow.
And an MRI, which is really expensive. And yeah, they covered it all. So I get to be, we were talking about being old and trying to be healthy, and that was kind of a wake-up call for me. So now I eat well and try to sleep better and exercise.
Absolutely. Shout out to Ham for keeping the most talented people in Austin healthy.
I mean, a lot of my friends have it.
Yeah.
And if you don't have health insurance, I don't know if you do. Okay.
If I wasn't still riding the parents' train of their health insurance.
Oh, that's right. You got a couple years.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would probably be trying to jump on that straight away.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I went through my little first, like, experience of having to go to, like, the hospital and, like, getting different appointments and stuff. And even with health insurance, I was, like, blown away by how expensive it was.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you don't have any health insurance, you're pretty much shit out of luck.
You're straight up, like, you might be in debt.
Yeah.
Forever.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have been. If I paid it.
Yeah. That's cool you're going to be a part of the fundraiser, though. Is that something that you, like, get excited for every year?
This is the first year I've really done it.
Okay, because you did the virtual thing. But...
Yeah. I guess I didn't really think about that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I talked to them, and I was like, I'll do anything for you guys. Like, because they really are. The work that they do is really amazing. I mean, you probably know the process, but basically like a bunch of musicians show up the day before, which is like you can go most of the year, and they just cram a bunch of people. They work like 12 hours a day because they're actually like super passionate about it because it's really difficult. But you go to a place, I'll give you the plug, you go to a place called, I don't know if you did this too, but to Foundation Communities.
Okay.
And you sit with a counselor down there who, like, if you haven't navigated the healthcare marketplace, it is a nightmare.
Yeah.
And they basically help you through, based on your income, you get a stipend that the government will pay for, which brings it down to a more manageable level. And then they'll have you go to the ham office, and the ham will say, based on the money that they have, like allocated, that they will, if they can, they'll pay your monthly premium.
Yeah.
And then you just have health insurance. And when I had my stuff, I didn't know how to work it out. So I called them and went in and had an interview. Or not an interview, but I just had a session where they helped.
Yeah.
They just guided me through it.
Man, that's so cool.
It is, dude. It's truly awesome.
Doing these interviews, I talk to musicians about, of course, Austin is like a very music-centric city, the live music capital of the world, but how much of, like, do you think Sims and Ham, like organizations like that, how much do you think they contribute to keeping musicians in Austin?
I mean, I think a lot of people would move, or we just wouldn't have health insurance. It's hard to say. But there's so many, like, I guess, occupational hazards about playing music. Like, you're just in bars all the time, or you're sleeping in a van. Yeah. And, like, I did that for, like, 10 years.
Right.
And, so it's good to have that to help you take care of yourself. But, I can't speak for other musicians, but I think a lot of us love the place so much that we probably would just not have health insurance.
Yeah, you would just have to, stick it out, I guess. That's awesome. That's really cool to hear. That was, like I said, it was something I learned about doing these interviews, and I was like, oh man, like I loved Austin before, but that's...
It's really cool. Like, it is really like they're really, and they're really passionate about it. Like, they're just doing it because they actually care. Like, you'll see the same people every year that are there, like, working their asses off to make sure that, that we are taken care of.
That's incredible.
It's super cool, man.
Good to hear. Let's talk about your music career a little bit. So, are you mainly? I know you're a multi-instrumentalist, but are you mainly a banjo player?
Not anymore.
Okay.
I was for I grew up playing guitar, and I played classical guitar, and then I came home from. I was going to Texas Tech at the time, and I came home for the summer, and I was like sitting, looking at my parents' record collection, and I was like. I think I was like 20, and I pulled out The World of Flatt and Scruggs. Flatt and Scruggs is like one of the first bluegrass bands ever in the 50s. Then I also pulled out Dark Side of the Moon. So the same day, I had never heard Dark Side of the Moon. So I listened to Dark Side, like, breathe, and I was like, oh my God. Yeah. And then after that, I put on The World of Flatt and Scruggs and heard like the banjo, and I was like, oh no. And I got obsessed with the banjo for like 10, 15 years, like. I would sit and be like wake up in the morning and be like, and just practice for like 6 hours. And I joined a band called Whiskey Shivers, and we went on the road for 10 years, and did that up until the pandemic, and then realized I didn't want to do it anymore. Right. And then I've been working at this liquor store, and my boss is cool. I have like a little M-Box or a little Scarlett, and I just started recording, and started writing songs and stuff, and then came up with a sound that I liked and wrote songs that I liked, and now I just would sit there and play everything. Yeah. So I guess it's like drums, guitar, keys, and then I do all the vocals and stuff. Wow.
So yeah, with Whiskey Shivers, I was lucky enough to get Jeff Hortiosa back here. Horty, love Horty.
He's a genius.
Yeah, he's great energy too. He's good people. I was thinking of like. What's a entertaining, like, interesting, unique question I could ask you? And since I've had Horty back here, I gotta know, like, what's the best part of working with Horty? And then what just sucks about the guy?
Nothing sucks. He can be really scatterbrained. Like, his creativity goes in every single direction at all moments in time.
That sounds accurate.
But he'll come in with like the most beautiful song you've ever heard, and he'll be like, I don't know about this one. I'm like, shut the fuck up, dude. Like, that's awesome. I did do an interview the other day, and they asked me what the craziest tour story was, and it involves Horty. We were playing in. It's not like okay. We're playing in New York. God, it was like Bowery. No, it wasn't Bowery. I can't remember. And like, my girlfriend and I are about to cross the street, and this guy starts walking. And Horty's like, stop! And like, I swear to God, like, that dude would have been hit by a fucking semi. like a big ass box truck going like 40.
No way.
We were just like this dude was running out and Horty, I can't remember, he yelled stop or car, and the guy just froze, and within like 2 or 3 feet of him, like it was unreal, like that. It was, I don't know, that's crazy to me. But that's not the crazy tour story that people expect.
Yeah.
but it was that stands out in my mind as like, if he hadn't been there for that.
He's a hero.
He's a hero.
Yeah. He went to New York and
literally
channeled
saved the
his
dude's life.
Spider-Man. Yeah, channeled his Spider-Man, inner Spider-Man. Yeah, that's awesome. He's a lot of fun. You guys toured together for 10 years?
Yeah. Oh, other cool Horty story, and I don't know if he talked about this in his interview, but we were in a movie called Pitch Perfect 3, which was sick, but it has about 100%, 99% to do with Horty, because that's an example of how his creativity goes in every direction. He was trying to get a guitar from Eastman, which he ended up succeeding at, but he has our friend Jessica Klima come over and like shoot photos. And he's like looking all dorky with his Eastman and like, whatever. And then they're done. He's like, actually, I have this weird idea that maybe you could shoot. And she's like, okay. She's got a great sense of humor. And it's him like in like short shorts pouring water over himself in like suggestive poses. And he made a Craigslist ad. That was like a thinly veiled like prostitution service, but it's like him like in these like sexy 80s poses, like pouring water on himself and like dripping honey, like whatever, like this is the craziest shit you've ever like. And I was like, is this funny? Like sometimes with Horty you can't tell if it's hilarious and way outside of your scope of humor, and this was that. I was like, I don't get this, man. Anyway, it ends up making like best of Craigslist. And it's like, this is... And then it finally got flagged. But I guess...
So it made the best of Craigslist.
And then got flagged as actual prostitution. So it gets taken down. But in the meantime, our friend Nick Garza, do you know Nick from... used to be in Hella Wheels. He's doing his own thing now.
I don't personally.
He's got a solo thing going that's awesome. He's doing like a country with like Tejano influence.
Okay, sweet.
But he was doing commercials at the time. And he, for whatever reason, was like... Oh, you should check this out. He was playing Whiskey Shivers. She was like, that's cool. And then he showed her this ad, this woman, Trish C., who directed that movie, but she also directed Bring It On 3. And she was like, this is hilarious. And so at some point, we're playing in Atlanta, like a year later, and they shot it in Atlanta, and they're working at a Tyler Perry studio. Anyway, she shows up to a show, and she's like, would you guys be interested in doing this movie? Like Pitch Perfect? And all the guys are like, yeah, sure. And I've watched every fucking Pitch Perfect ever because I'll watch any movie with music no matter how ridiculous it is.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, fuck yeah. So they didn't know. So we went home and watched it that night. And we watched both of them, and they're hilarious.
Uh-huh.
And so maybe like a year and a half later, like when you get offers like that, you're like, sure.
Yeah, whatever.
It probably won't happen.
Uh-huh.
And they hit us up, and they were like, another genius Horty moment. They hit us up, and they hit us up on a Wednesday, and they're like, hey, can you have a demo done by Friday? We're like, yeah, I guess so. So we went and made a not great demo, and they were like, that's not what we had in mind. So we went somewhere else, and they gave us like maybe a week. We rented out a studio and just like made like legit Whiskey Shivers pop songs. But Horty was in there like playing bass, and he had all these really cool ideas. And anyway, we ended up flying to Atlanta for like a couple months, or we do a couple weeks at a time, and they're like flying us first class, which is not a thing you should do with Whiskey Shivers. but they did, and we were on this movie set with like fucking movie stars or whatever. And we did that. And this was all because he made some ridiculous fucking prostitute. Yes.
So I'm glad you mentioned it because I want to hear your side of that. But yeah, he did mention that in his interview. I believe it's called Eye Candy Lawn.
Eye Candy Lawn Service. Yeah. We should. Maybe you can link it in the. I think it's back on Craigslist, yeah.
It's on the best of, yeah, Horty sent it to me a while back.
Oh my god.
I hope you can link it in the comments. Or
I will.
whatever.
I'll absolutely do that.
Can I do the plug, smash subscribe? Hey, this is James from South Austin Music. Like and subscribe, and leave your favorite guitar in this room in the comments.
Hell yes. Let's go. We finally
You should make every single person do that. Like, no pressure, but right now.
Yeah,
I love that idea, though. That's going to be... We've been thinking about things to do, you know?
That's
things to beef up the channel.
Pitch Perfect 3. That's right. Okay, Pitch Perfect 3. I did want to talk about that because that is super, super cool. You guys got on like a blockbuster movie. Did you have any speaking lines, or were you just like there playing the instrument?
I had like, I think Horty had one. I had one just because I was mic'd up and they decided to use it. Like, we're like sitting in this. It's supposed. The idea is it's like a USO tour.
Yeah.
There's 3 bands on a USO tour. The Bellas, who this is their final acapella, their final college acapella, which apparently the Bellas are supposed to be Baylor. They're like supposed to be a Baylor acapella group.
Oh, really?
Which I found out way later because they're the Barton Bellas and it's supposed to be Baylor. Whatever they are. But the premise is that like we're one of the 3 bands on a USO tour. And it's like a battle of the bands judged by DJ Khaled, who Horty and I met, which is a whole other story. So yeah, I have a speaking line. Like we're sitting in there, and there's 2 bands sitting in there, and then the Bellas walk in, and we're like the Southern Gentlemen, or whatever. We're called Saddle Up, and they walk in, and I'm like, ladies, and then, like I have that, and then there's one scene where we walk out.
So that's one of the lines.
Well, it's just like I mean, I just said it. Like I was just like, this is dumb.
Yeah.
But they had all this mic'd up in case we said something good.
Yeah.
So we, the wireless shit and whatever, and so that got in. But the other thing that I really like that got in is like the Horty has a speaking line, and there's a part where he's like talking shit to them for messing up, and I'm walking by with my banjo, and I did like. And that got in there too, but it's just like, it was so fun. I think maybe someone, I mean, we all sang, so technically we have speaking roles, but...
Yeah, as far as the singing goes.
I think those were the only 2.
Where was it shot? Was it shot in LA?
It was in Atlanta.
Atlanta?
Because Atlanta gives, like, incentives for people shooting movies there.
Okay, cool.
And it was in, like, most of it was in a big, like, huge airport hangar. Mm-hmm. I think it's Fort Sill. Don't quote me on that. Yeah. Maybe talk shit to me about that in the comments. How's that?
You are wired for the YouTube stuff, man. This is also we never say something in the comments. We never do the like and subscribe.
Let me say the wrong year about one of these guitars. So someone can be like, "What an idiot! He doesn't even know that that's a '56 one."
Oh man, yeah, just like straight trolling for our benefit. That's so great. Okay, I gotta know, what was it like meeting DJ Khaled? Did you see him and he was like, "We the best"?
No, So we had a day off and Horty and I just went there. I phoned my girlfriend into town, just because like, I don't know if you know anything about acting. This sounds so bad. Acting is like jazz, but like I swear to God, like we would be doing scenes with like the Bellas and there would be the 3 groups or whatever, and like Rebel Wilson would be like, "Hey, I have this idea," so we'd all go back. We'd start from 1, and like okay, and they walk and they do the same lines. And she would just say something, and the whole room would be like, they'd be like, cut, and everyone would just erupt into laughter. Which is like, so they improv great. So we have a day where DJ Khaled is only there for 1 day because you can only pay DJ Khaled for 1 day. He flew on his own helicopter.
Oh my God.
And so they're like, we have some extra time with DJ Khaled, can you guys do a scene? And I'm like, I'm not an actor. Like, I'm a guy who hides behind banjo on stage, like, in front of cameras, it's no good. And so they're like, can you just improv a scene with him? And so... Horty and I are like, okay, we go to wardrobe, they suit us up, and they're like, DJ Khaled's standing there, and we just walk up and try to tell jokes. Horty was good at it, I was not. But so we got to meet him, and afterwards I was like, sir, can we get a photo with you? And he was like, yeah, bless up. I'm like, sick. Yeah, I was like, hey, it's nice meeting you, man. Bless up. That's it. That's all. I think that's all he said.
Yeah.
It was like, that's Khaled, man. Like.
Yeah, that is his like favorite thing to say.
Bless up, man. And he had his son. He's actually really sweet. Like, he had his son with him, and like he's playing with him, and because he's mic'd up, you could be on the monitors, like, behind the, like, director's chair or whatever, listening to him. And he's like, seems like, I love you, kid. Like, he's he's a really sweet dude.
That's cool. Yeah. That's really cool. Yeah, did you feel starstruck at all?
No, all those people are pretty normal. Mm-hmm. Like, we worked with Ruby Rose, was, like, really close with us in our scenes. I didn't know who she was. My mom liked her. She's hilarious.
Yeah.
But we would just be fucking around. Like, everyone that's a musician is kind of the same, like, which kind of surprised me, because, like, there's Ruby, he plays music. Then, like, oh my God. Oh, I can't remember her name. Oh, that's embarrassing. The drummer she's amazing. She's Beyonce's, like, drummer.
Oh, really?
That's her gig. She's from Houston. She's amazing. So it was her, Andy Allo, who played with Prince, Hannah, who played with, God, was it Springsteen? I can't remember. So if I had known that, I might have been nervous. But the
Yeah.
whole time we're like in between takes, they're like resetting set or whatever. We're playing like we'll just start jamming stuff and we're singing and like it's really fun. So no,
Ignorance is bliss on that one.
I mean, yeah, and it wasn't like the Bellas were no one knows who those are. They're like the main characters of the movie. But they were really sweet. Like they rented out this gal Chrissy Fit, who's one of the actresses. They rented out the Atlanta Zoo for her birthday.
Oh,
so we
no
all
way.
went and just hung out, ate lunch together, had like a private falcon show. It was really cool. But they're just normal people. Like they're like a little bit disconnected at first because they didn't want you to be like, oh my God, Rebel Wilson.
Yeah,
and then eventually like she like held my banjo. She gave us all hats, and like it was
That's
cool.
so
So I wasn't
cool.
ever maybe a little bit starstruck when I met Elizabeth Banks,
Uh-huh.
and she's also super nice.
Yeah.
But no, not really.
That's incredible. How long were you guys out there for?
So long,
Really?
like 2 or 3 weeks at a time,
Whoa.
probably 5 or 6 times. But
Wow.
what's sick about that, what's really amazing, is because we're now SAG members, which is the Screen Actors Guild. But they would be like, in order to go to fly to a movie, there's so many things you have to do. They have to send a driver to your house to pick you up and take you to the airport, and then they have to fly you first class. Or if they don't, they have to pay you like an extra $1,400 or something.
What?
And so yeah, and then they have to, all your transportation has to be taken care of because otherwise it's a liability. And so like I'm getting picked up at like 6 a.m. at my like the shittiest house you can imagine by like the nicest car, and this dude's pulling up like, what the fuck? And I'm all hungover, taking out like 2 banjos, and carrying my resonator in like 4 bags, and this guy's like, this motherfucker. We get to the airport, and so we get in there and we're like, this is not our first time flying as musicians, but definitely the coolest. And like you can do whatever you want in first class. Like I have like 4 carry-ons. I like have a banjo and my resonator and then like a backpack and a rolling bag.
Yeah.
They're like, sir, and someone's like, you're fine. So we get in there. I take up like half of the like upper storage space in first class with all my instruments, and then you get like free drinks. So before they come around, they're like, do you guys want anything? We're like, scotch. Neat. Like, so you just chug that before you take off. And it was ridiculous. The whole thing is like, it's kind of unbelievable.
Yeah. That's so cool, man.
So yeah, we were up there a bunch.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Just like whenever they decided they needed us.
Mm-hmm.
And it was cool.
That's incredible. That's incredible because, I mean, Horty talked about it, but not that much in depth about it.
I feel like I'm saying too much. I'm sorry.
No. That's insane. I'm so happy to hear it. I mean, I definitely
want to hear more about it.
Yeah. Of
Okay,
course.
so the other cool outcome is we made friends with Trinidad James, who's like, he's a rapper from back in the day. He's
Yeah.
like a homie now though. So
Are you
like,
serious?
okay, God, okay, this is maybe the last story. So I know who TJ is. We call him TJ now. Like,
Okay.
He's like quiet, dude. He's really shy and reserved and quiet. And then one day we're like riding back in the van, and I was like, "Yo, Trinidad, if you take the R out of your name, it's Tiny Dad." And like everyone in the van got like real quiet. They're like, "Oh, he fucked up." And he started laughing, and we call him Tiny Dad now. But because of that, like he's an amazing writer, and he came to Austin, and we got to write in Arlen. Still over there in Arlen Studios.
I think so.
Still over there.
Yeah.
We've gotten to write with him, and like he's the homie now.
Yeah.
Which is like the coolest out. But like same shit. Like every musician is really similar. Like they're all kind of weird. We're all kind of weird, and like we can sense it in each other. And if you hang out enough, you'll be like, check out this Fleetwood Mac song, or, whatever it is.
Yeah. See, like how who can push who too far.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the best time ever. Okay, back to your banjo playing. I heard that you like would play through a lot of pedals and a guitar amp when you play banjo. You started to do that.
I started to do that.
So how did that come about? Like, what gave you the idea to do it?
We were starting to play like bigger bluegrass festivals, which is awesome. Bluegrass has a great community.
Yeah.
Those dudes also play like Rolling in My Sweet Baby's Arms. Like if you go to a bluegrass festival, you're gonna hear that 15 times.
Yeah.
And we were playing at like legit ones, and people were like, "This isn't traditional." And, like so, we're like, "Wow, fucking playing as fast as we can." And so after doing that traditional circuit, and we were still kind of doing it, I was like, "Fuck this!" Like I bought a mini Marshall stack, which is like just cute. And then for some reason bought like a whammy pedal, and like I was just like, fuck this, like I don't, if you think this isn't traditional, just wait. And I was doing like octave dive bombs and shit, but we ended up getting more into the like
That's so cool though. I think it's sweet.
It was fun because you know, like you can do a lot of stuff. Like you don't have to just have a dry banjo. You know, like
well, and also if you want to hear traditional bluegrass, there's plenty of places
There's
to
plenty
go
of places
hear
to
it.
do that, yeah.
And that's like kind of what music is about in some ways. It's like switching it up, trying to find something new.
Yeah, and it was just fun because I always played guitar through a bunch of pedals, so I just had a bunch laying around. I was like, tube screamer, compressor, like a nice preamp, and then whatever.
Yeah.
And like just started messing around, but I don't know, it's fun.
I mean, that has to like draw people to the music just purely out of like curiosity at some point too, They're like, well, I have to hear what a banjo sounds like behind a tube screamer and a compressor.
Yeah, it's cool. It has a lot of potential, and I think it's not something people explore enough. People are starting to, which is rad.
Mm-hmm.
But we ended up doing like kind of on the like Colorado jamgrass circuit,
Yeah.
where it's a little bit more common.
Right.
And so it ended up fitting in a little better there, but just the idea of being like, like people were pissed. They'd be like, this dude has a Marshall stack. I mean, it's tiny. It's just so dumb. But it was funny. It's just a way to entertain myself, I think.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's what you should. If you're not having fun, nobody else is going to be.
For sure. And like just being super traditional about things. Like I know that people can be like that. And like, I don't know, it's weird when people I was talking to a buddy of mine, he's like, you need a hand-wired original or new old stock Fender. And I'm like, dude, no, I don't. Like, I'll play it through a PV.
Yeah.
And, whatever it is, it doesn't matter to me. But it's just a way to get out of that. Because I used to be really traditional. Mm-hmm. And then kind of just realized, like, just do whatever you want.
You gotta have fun with it, and yeah, do what's fun for you.
Yeah, and like,
for sure.
I love Stevie Ray Vaughan and Hendrix and stuff, but not everybody needs to sound like those dudes. Like, read, I'm sure you read forums, and everyone has like these, he rolls his eyes, everyone has these opinions, and it's like, you don't need to nail that Stevie tone from your basement in Iowa or whatever it is. Like, you don't need a Dumble. We call those dudes all rig, no gig, which is like so funny to me. Well, so I was my friend sent me a forum. Yeah, shots fired. My friend sent me a forum today talking about PCB boards, and I was like, dude, it doesn't like whoever has that opinion is like. If I have a $350 Blues Junior and I'm on tour and it breaks, guess what? I'm going to go buy another $350 Blues Junior at Guitar Center if I have to, and like it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And like it doesn't, I don't think, and I don't know what your opinion on it is, but like I don't think like point-to-point hand-wired it's certainly not going to make a difference when you're listening to a song through your iPhone. Mm-hmm. Like, you're never going to be like sick Dumble. Or
yeah.
I can tell.
Yeah. Well, and also I think people have to realize that like as far as the masses go, they're like you said, they're not paying attention to that necessarily.
Yeah.
Like there's a song called Smoko by this like Australian
I love that.
band,
I'm on Smoko. Yeah.
And like my brother showed it to me, and he like made a really fair point where he's like, it can be simple as shit. Like a song can be like super simple, and like that can be what makes it really cool.
So what I realized with the music that I'm making now is that like I don't make music for musicians. Mm-hmm. Like a lot of like people will be like, well, it only has 3 chords, and it's like, yeah, look at what the Clash did with 3 chords. Look what AC/DC did.
Yeah.
And I'm not comparing myself to that, but it's like there's like this whole faction, and again back to the banjo thing, like this whole faction of very strongly opinionated people, and then you have the people that you make music for, which are the music listeners.
Yeah.
And like you can't please them all, but also like that was my turning point at which I was like, I don't give a fuck what these people think. Like I'm gonna have fun.
Yeah.
And just make some weird noises.
Well, and I really like what you just said there too. Is like you don't have to make music for musicians, because those are the people that are gonna notice, and if that's what you want to do, it's awesome. And it's also like really, there's a lot of talent in that. But
right. But also, no one has ever like, well, that Howlin' Wolf recording sounds kind of shitty. Like, it's like I wish they had used the LA2, like whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Your current band now, San Gabriel.
Yeah.
When did that start?
Maybe like 5 years ago. We were touring a bunch, and I don't really think any of us were very happy doing it, and it was just we'd done it for 10 years, and it was like, man, I know you guys really well, and like I don't know. A little too well.
Yeah.
And I've always played a bunch of instruments, and I wanted to do that. I wanted to do more of it. I couldn't do it in the context of the band. So I borrowed my buddy's Scarlett, like little recording interface, which I still have not given back. Thank you, Will Jacobs. I just started recording, and like I made like a blues slide record.
Yeah.
And then I was like, that's cool. And then I bought a Jazzmaster. And then I started recording with that. And then I got a synthesizer and Ableton.
Yeah.
Just went from there. What was the question? I'm sorry.
Just San Gabriel.
Yeah,
your
okay.
band. Yeah. When the original question was when did it start? But yeah, that's great. was your most recent single Circles?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So that has a really cool sound to it. And
Thanks.
it's kind of like, similar to the rest of the music you guys make, but what drew you to that sound in particular?
Just messing around. I recorded all myself, so it's literally just in the box. And I used to be like one song a year guy, and I have a buddy, my buddy Philip. I'd be like, I haven't written anything, and he's like, well, show me 9 bad songs, show me 10 bad songs. I had nothing, so I just started doing like what I call a 30-minute challenge, and I just like set the timer and be like, you gotta come up with something now. So like I'd be like, I need a progression, great. I need a verse, cool. Let's get a chorus. Like, I don't know what it is. Like, just throw something at the wall, and be like, oh, that's decent. And then like a second verse, and then a chorus, and then like a bridge. And I'll be like, there's 7 minutes left. Like, you really need a second verse, like now. Just scribble out a bridge, and then whatever. And then I just did that, and the first one I did, I was like, this is kind of fun. So I recorded it, and I was like, this sounds different. It kind of sounded like Magnetic Fields or something, because I recorded it like holding a 57.
Yeah.
And then I just kept going from there. Like, I would just do songs all the time. And, you have to learn to write a bad song, I think. Just like when you're practicing guitar, you have to suck at it until you get good at it. And so I just wrote shitty songs for a year or two. And then I think I wrote one that I liked.
Yeah.
And then I was like, all right, well, I guess I'm going to put this out. And
yeah.
Circles
is amazing. That's available like all across all platforms. Yeah. That song is really cool. It's a fun one to jam out to. Like, a loud car song with the windows down.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's just like, I just want to entertain myself and have fun. I don't need a lot of chords.
Yeah.
A lot of I can't shred. I used to try to shred, and I'm just not good at it.
Just not.
It would be, I always tell people it would be disrespectful, like live if I improv the solo. Like, it would just be like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to make you listen to it. No one, everybody loses in that situation.
Good music is good music. So, whatever you're doing is working. And yeah, it's like I said, it's good. So it's working. Okay, last question I have here. Recording King. You're endorsed by them?
Yeah.
Yeah? How'd that go? How'd that come about?
Forums, actually.
The goddamn forums.
Dude, banjohangout.org.
No.
I swear to God. I think I've been with them for 7 or 8 years.
Yeah.
But God, we were in like Oklahoma or something. I don't know.
Tulsa. It's always Tulsa.
It might have been Tulsa. Actually.
It's always Tulsa.
And I think I had written this guy, Greg Rich, who used to work for Gibson. He's like a genius banjo guy. But he went to Recording King and designed their banjos. And so I was reading on the forums, and everyone's like, even though it's made in China, it's still really good. I was like, okay, fuck that, whatever. So I called, or I messaged this guy, Greg Rich, and I was like, hey, like, this is what I'm doing with my band. Like, I really like your banjos. And he just had this guy, Ashley Atz, he's the Recording King, like, customer-facing rep.
Okay.
And he was like, let's talk tomorrow and whatever. So he called me. I, like, woke up all hungover as shit. Like, walked outside and sat on the curb outside our hotel in Tulsa. And, like, he just asked me, like, why Recording King? I guess this is where I plugged Recording King. What I told him is like, well, we're playing a bunch. I was playing like a $4,000 banjo at the time, which was awesome. But I was like, man, if someone sees us, like, I want them to be like, oh, this is a $700 banjo, I can afford this, and not think that like being in a band is unattainable because it's expensive gear. And their banjos are awesome. So yeah, he mailed me a banjo a couple weeks later, and we saw him in Nashville, and we did another record, and I asked for another banjo and a resonator, and he sent me that. And then, like, every quarter, he'll hit me up and be like, do you need anything? And
that's so cool.
No, I don't take him up on it anymore, because I don't need... I mean, I have, like, 15, 20 guitars, and that's too much.
Dang.
Yeah, it happened like that, and, like, they come for South by.
Yeah.
And they do a showcase... I can't remember the name of the club, but with Bloodshot Records every year. And so, like, I go hang out and help them, like, hand out T-shirts and stuff. Like,
nice.
So they're homies. They're like...
Yeah.
Him and then Jim. Buddy Jim is one of the other dudes, but...
Okay, cool.
Yeah, good folks.
You gotta check out those forums. You never know what's gonna come from it.
I don't do it anymore, but that was... I think after that, I was like, I'm done with this. Certainly after playing through the Mini Marshall, I could no longer post on the forums.
That's so cool. I hope you do it like one more time or something, because I'd like to see that myself.
Oh, what? Do the forum post?
No, the mini Marshall.
Oh, the mini Marshall, man. I might.
It'd be cool to see that happen again. All right, so for the next part of the show, we'll jump to this or that questions, which is kind of just slowly turning into rapid fire questions.
All right.
But yeah, these can be pretty fun. I'm interested to pick your brain on this stuff.
Cool.
Starting off, night owl or morning person?
Night owl.
Yeah, it's always been that way.
Yeah.
What time do you usually wake up?
Oh, I woke up at 2. I woke up at like 1:45, and I was like, I'm supposed to be there at 2. I was like, God, thank God it's 3. I had a dream that I missed this too, so I woke up like feeling bad.
No way.
I was like, 8. I looked at my calendar and I was like, it's.
Oh, that's the worst. Yeah, I love sleeping that late. I'm definitely a night owl. I try and make myself a morning person. I go through phases where I try and like force myself to be that. I never will be. I'll always be a night owl.
I could be, but it takes a lot of work.
You know what really screws me up is it'll be like 11 or 12 and I'm like, all right, like time to start winding down to go to bed, you know, like the day's over. And then it's like 3 a.m. and I'm like, I've just been laying in bed for 3 hours. Like I could have done something. Like I could have done a lot in this time.
So I do that now and I'll be like, it's like 1 and I'm like, oh, I'm just going to go to my practice space then. Like,
yeah.
So otherwise I'm just going to stay up watching guitar like pedal reviews. Like, how's the new Squire Jazzmaster? Like, I've already watched 1,000 of those. I already know. But so I'll just go to my space if I have to go to work at night. I figure like if I have to go do a job, I can probably be tired for it.
Yeah. And
like
for sure.
If I'm alert, I want to work on music.
I actually find myself sometimes I function better off little sleep. Like,
oh, that must be nice.
It's very weird, but there's a weird like delirious level you get to where you start to care less. Like sometimes for doing these interviews, sometimes if I have less sleep, I feel better about it. Cause like, you know, if I get a lot of rest, then I'm thinking about everything.
Oh yeah.
And I'm not like real relaxed, you know. Okay, so let's say, would you rather be in nature or in the city?
That's tough. I haven't spent a lot of time in nature, but I want to.
Yeah.
Well, I'd rather be in nature than... Well, okay, I won't talk shit on Austin. I was going to say I'd rather be in nature than in this city.
There's a lot of traffic these days.
There's a lot of traffic. And I live south, so like when I drive, I work in like central Austin. So when I drive, it's like 30 minutes, and I'm like...
So you're
lurching along the freeway.
Yeah, you're in the hellhole that is I-35.
But I don't know. I've always lived close to downtown, and I've always liked it. But like, so maybe I'll 50-50 it.
Yeah. How about like you can have a penthouse in any city, like the nicest penthouse, or you can have like a huge ranch in any state. Which one are you going with?
That's tough. I need to be around people, so I would probably... it wouldn't be a penthouse. I'd take like a small house close to the city.
Yeah.
Wouldn't want a big house.
I'm so going into the penthouse, man.
Really?
Oh yeah.
I would say a neighborhood for the people, a penthouse to like flex on people.
Yeah.
Or have them come over and be like, damn.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. Yeah. Neighborhood's nice if you're like. Guess you want like do the family thing or whatever.
Even not the family. Like I'd take a house in here where I have like a little music room. Walk over, buy too much shit here, go next door and get some food. Like a walkable neighborhood.
That's cool. That
sure.
is cool for sure. Yeah, 100%. Because that is the main thing about the penthouse. You can walk wherever, but also you gotta spend 10 minutes in an elevator, so that kind of
right.
That's pretty shit. Okay, let's do. Would you rather get bit by a snake or a spider?
Snake, because I've never been bit by one.
Yeah.
So I think a snake.
Yeah, the other guy we interviewed was saying it's kind of just cooler to say that too.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Dude, you could call me Snakebite. Yeah. I would come in and only play blues. You'd be like, that's old Snakebite Bookert. You're like, damn. I get a tattoo like about you. Everyone would know that I got bit by a snake.
The whole world would know I survived.
Oh my god, dude, Snakebite Bookert. That's. Can you give yourself a blues name? Because I think
you should write a song called Snakebite Bookert. Yeah, exactly. That's awesome. Okay. This is my new favorite. Fight or flight?
I have really good conflict resolution skills, so...
Okay.
Flight.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I've never really been in a fight either.
How so? Like, how are the conflict resolution skills?
I think the only time someone's wanted to punch, I was just like, dude, why? Like, you want to punch someone? Or like, I work out at a liquor store and people have been outside. I'm like, dude, if you guys fucking fight, like, the police are gonna show up. One of you idiots is going to jail. You want to go to fucking jail tonight? And they're like, no. I'm like, okay. It's like, just walk away. You're gonna be fine. Like,
dang, man, you got the answer to like world peace. I feel like.
I don't know. Like, imagine punching someone. You'd be like, I would feel so bad. Like, oh my god, I'm so. If you actually hurt them, you'd be like, oh no. Like, I don't know. So I don't know if that's flight. I guess.
Yeah. Well, it sounds more of just like resolve.
Yeah, for sure.
Add that third option in there. That's pretty good. That's sweet. Would you rather do a big venue or a small venue?
Small venue?
Yeah.
Mid-size? I mean, big venues are cool too, but
yeah, small venues tend to be more intimate.
It's cool. If it's too intimate though, like I've been less nervous playing to like 4,000 people than I have been playing to 4.
Yeah.
Like legit. Like,
wow.
You just look and there's like, oh, there's a bunch of people out there. But if it's 4 people, it's like musicians and they're like, that dude's B string is out of tune. And you're like, oh man. And it's always the B string too.
Yeah, I can see that. There does seem to be somehow more pressure.
Yeah.
On that then, yeah. Okay. Okay, would you rather be the first person alive or the last?
I definitely don't want to be the last person alive. I guess first.
Yeah. Metallica or Megadeth?
Neither.
Yeah.
I never liked them.
Yeah.
I've really never listened to Megadeth, but I guess Metallica's okay.
Yeah.
I don't really know their music, to be honest.
I know Metallica, the name, I know that name better, so I think I would just say Metallica.
Dude, I didn't get into metal until I was like 32.
I still don't think I've gotten into metal, really.
Dude, Maiden, a buddy of mine was like, do you want to play a classic metal, all banjo show? And I was like, yes. So I was learning like these Maiden harmonies on banjo.
Whoa.
And it was sick. And then I was like, oh, Maiden is cool. Like, I only listened to like the metal that was in skate videos, so I don't know anything about it.
That's crazy.
Check out Maiden
with banjo.
Check out Maiden, you'll like them.
Yeah, Iron Maiden or just
Iron Maiden?
Okay, I'm sure I've heard their stuff. Okay, if you could be a professional at anything, what would it be?
Music. Besides
music. I mean, you're doing Sam Sessions. This is the professional league right here.
Oh gosh. When I was a kid, I would have wanted to be a professional skateboarder or a professional baseball player.
Yeah.
Maybe baseball. I think baseball would be
Did
cool.
you used to skate as a kid?
Yeah.
Oh, that's sick.
I still do.
Yeah? Are you pretty good with it or what?
I haven't skated in a while, but I was serious as a kid. I qualified for Warped Tour.
Whoa.
As a kid, I got to go to San Antonio.
No shit.
And meet a bunch of pros and stuff.
That's so cool.
But I also got to see like really sick like punk bands, like pop punk bands.
Wow.
Like Millen Collin and 88 Fingers Louie, and who else was on that? Real Big Fish were on that tour. Less Than Jake. I was like 16 and just like, whoa. Has
skate culture started to like die off?
No, it's bigger than ever.
Okay.
It used to be like we would come to Austin as like 16-year-olds and it was like there was probably 30, 40 skaters. And now we have a really beautiful park over there.
House Park?
There's a lot more people, yeah.
So I grew up hanging out with skaters. So of course I would like try and skateboard, but I was just so uncoordinated on a skateboard.
It takes a lot of work.
It was so embarrassing.
It's kind of like golf. Like I would say it's as difficult as golf. Like you don't just go and hit a ball and like, oh yeah, this is easy, because it's terrible. It's so difficult.
Yeah. Skating is fun though, but you gotta be nuts to like do the crazy stuff on it.
No, I mean it's all calculated risk, but I wasn't that kind of skater.
Like,
and now I'm old and I don't. I'm not old, but I'm old enough to know better than to throw myself. Like I've been skating like before Shivers tours and just like folded my hand. Yeah. And been like, okay, well this is gonna be awful. And it was always fine, but like that's not something I want to do anymore.
So what's your favorite skate company as far as like buying a skateboard deck? Which one are you going for?
My buddy actually prints potato skateboards, so that one.
Okay.
But growing up there was an Austin company called Think, which was really cool.
Interesting.
Other than that, I'm not really particular anymore. I was when I was a kid, but now I just buy what I can.
Yeah, just enjoy it. If you have to get rid of one, Instagram, Facebook, or TikTok, which is it? Facebook.
You need to finish.
Nice.
No, Facebook.
I was scared you were gonna say TikTok.
Either, but no, dude. Facebook is just a rabbit hole of yelling at people, of people like complaining about shit.
Yeah.
And like my parents, there was a point at which everyone's parents joined Facebook, and you're like, ooh. I don't need to know anything. Like
you're like, oh.
Yeah, no. I mean, do you use Facebook? You definitely don't use Facebook. You use Facebook?
Not anymore. Not since COVID.
I had Facebook.
That's where that just shit went so downhill. I was like, wow, everybody has an opinion and nobody knows what the hell they're talking about. I'm gonna just go on Instagram and watch little, cool guitar lick videos.
Yeah.
And it's like designed to make you pit you against each other.
Yeah,
And it shows you shit you hate. And it's same shit to me. It's like, I don't know. I don't need to know what. Oh my god, my dumbass friend had like every banjo player in like Appalachia when I'm touring. I'm like, banjo player friend.
Yeah.
You get to know them on Facebook. Like they have horrible views. Like, and that was my. And I kind of just deleted a bunch of people. I keep it for like the memories. Like I got to see like some cool Whiskey Shivers memories from the last because this is like festival season.
Yeah, I got it when I was 9, and if I go look at my old account, it's like every single time I would post something on Facebook, it would say, I'm so bored. Or like, I'm so
Right.
Yeah, I was like 9 years old. I guess I just didn't know what social media was for. So I was like, I'm just going to let people know I'm bored right now.
Yeah.
That's like all I post.
It's like it keeps you out of the real world. Like,
yeah.
You know, that's the thing. Like what I was saying about like if I'm not sleeping, like I can just fucking go through Instagram for like 2 hours or some bullshit.
Yeah.
And like, so now I just go to my space. Cause I'm a grown up and I can just go somewhere at 2 a.m. and stay there till 6 if I want. Like,
so check this out. We all don't like Facebook here, right? You know how that new skyscraper that's going up, that's the Meta building.
It's the Meta building.
It's going to be the tallest skyscraper in Texas.
Yay.
So we'll form a group. We'll plan to go there at like 4 a.m. one night and we'll take that bitch down. We'll
That's
just,
right.
Take
That
down the
sounds-
whole building.
You're gonna have to cut that shit out.
As
That's
an
like
act of violence,
that's a video recorded threat.
Let's let them know we're coming for them. You know, we're taking down the Meta building.
You're coming for them.
No,
Oh
you
my
guys
God,
are part
yeah.
of this. No,
He's forming a militia right here on camera. It's like
all of us.
the last scene of Fight Club. Oh God.
Okay. All right. 80s or 90s? Which would you rather live through?
I lived through both.
37?
Yeah.
So, okay, but like, which would you rather be like in your 30s for?
Oh. There's a lot of good music in both.
Yeah. So which one do you appreciate?
I would. Okay, here's the thing. I could go through the 80s in my 30s and the 90s in my 40s. My first concert, bro, was Michael Jackson. 92. 92. But you could have seen all that great 70s music. Well, that's not true because it's
Your
the
first
80s.
concert was with Michael Jackson?
It was Michael Jackson.
That's
Jeez,
so
that was 90s, but if I had been 30 or 20 in the 80s, then I would have been maybe I would have been a musician. The reason that I play guitar is because this guitar player, Jennifer Batten.
Yeah.
Do you know who she is? She was playing like Eddie's solos and Slash's shit. She's crazy. She's like a LA session player. But I saw her and I must have been 8. We're sitting like, I guess stage left, stage right. And like, I'm like, what the fuck is whatever? Like, see Michael Jackson, he's amazing.
Yeah.
And his guitar player, she has like this huge, like white wig on. She's wearing like tight leather and like, I think she was playing a Flying V or something, like a Jackson shreddy thing. And she's just like fucking playing through like Dirty Diana and like Beat It. And she's like, there's fucking like lasers coming out of her guitar.
No way.
And fucking like lights in her hair. And I was just like, I would do that. Like, and yeah. So 80s and I would say be 30 in the 80s and then 40 in because the 90s the grunge stuff was so good. I'm still Nirvana is probably my favorite band.
Yeah.
That was so. I mean, even like Bush. We had third wave ska that I keep talking about. We had no doubt that resurgence. The skating was cool in the 90s.
Yeah, and still like kind of underground, right?
Yeah. I don't think there's a lot of like 90s shredders. I guess Stevie?
Dude.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Paul Gilbert, I mean, you had Steve Vai, Joe Satriani. They were in the 90s going into the 90s.
That's true. But like the
I mean, what about like, I don't want to I'm so scared to talk on this stuff because I'm afraid I'm going to sound stupid. But what about like Eric Johnson?
Eric Johnson was 80s.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dude, that was so much fun. Thank you so much for coming
absolutely.
on.
Thank you for having me.
I seriously appreciate it. Definitely check out Circles if you guys get the chance. It's a great song. And if we can get you to do a performance here.
Yeah, is it cool if I just play slide?
Yeah.
My voice is kind of janky right now.
No problem at all. Instrumentals all day. That's sick.
Or you can make it really, your voice is janky, you can really...
Oh my god, Snake by Bookert.
Snake by Booker's coming out!
Dude, this is cool. It's just like us shooting the shit like we would normally.
Yeah, it's
like,
fucking awesome.
should have prefaced. I made that up at the liquor store that I work at. That was when I was a blues guy. That's Snakebite Bookert. Could you hear the rattle too much?
Oh yeah, that's fine. I mean, that thing's from the fucking 30s. I mean, it's gonna have some junk to it.
I'm so happy that for doing this interview that you're giving me this guitar.